We're now going to download and install Visual Studio Code, also known as VS Code. We're finally going to move away from the Jupyter Notebook and into a more professional development environment. So if you navigate to code.visualstudio.com, you'll get to this page, and there should be a download link right here. It will automatically detect your operating system. Just go ahead and click that. I've already downloaded it and have it on my desktop. I will unzip the file right here. I'm on a Mac, and on a Mac you'll actually have to do a little bit of work and move Visual Studio Code into your applications folder like this. Windows will automatically put it in the right place. So once it's in our applications folder, let's go ahead and open it up. All right. Here is our interface, Visual Studio Code. And this is just to help things get started. This is more for people who have already developed before. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually go back to this Get Started section. You can always access that again over here, Get Started with VS Code. But this is sort of the home screen for Visual Studio Code. The first thing we are going to do is actually install some extensions. So Visual Studio Code is not meant specifically for Python. You can actually code basically any programming language with Visual Studio Code. It just gives you all the tools to make your programming life easier. And in order to help support Python, you actually need to install some extensions. So if you see on the left-hand side over here, there is a little tab for extensions. If we click that, you'll see a list of the popular extensions. Python will probably show up at the top. If you just type in Python, that will also get it to show up at the top. So this is an extension developed by Microsoft. So Microsoft actually developed Visual Studio Code itself, and this is one of the most popular extensions, and it will really help you program with Python. So go ahead and click on it, and it'll take a minute to install. It'll give you more about the extension. And all right, so it is just installed. It's actually installed more extensions. So if I clear out the search and I go back over here, you can see there are actually 8 extensions installed. It might be a little bit different whenever you go through the course, but it is installed Python along with Jupyter. So you can actually open up Jupyter notebooks in Visual Studio Code, although I don't recommend that, as the interface is a little bit different and the feel is just a little bit different. The commands work just slightly different than it does in a normal notebook. So keep opening up your notebooks in, with our normal procedure through the Anaconda Navigator. All right, so one thing that you need to do to get things set up properly is to select a Python interpreter. So click right here under select a Python interpreter. You should have this, getting started screen up here. And if I select this button, you'll have a drop-down menu that appears. Make sure you pick the one that is under Anaconda 3. You might have multiple options. So on Macs, there is a Python version that comes installed with your machine. We don't want to choose that one. We want to choose the one with Anaconda. So make sure you choose that one like that. You might have a different version of Python because of whenever you took this course. But right now for me, it is Python 3.9. All right. So that's the main thing that we're going to do is just select the interpreter. I'm going to mark this as done. We're not going to explore things more right now. You can always get back to that through some of these walkthroughs. This is a getting started with Jupyter Notebook section. Again, we're not going to open up our notebooks here, so I'm going to exit out of this little screen. And these extensions over here, I can hide them. You can always download more extensions at a different time, but we're not going to need any more as of this moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. All right, So that's how you download and install Visual Studio Code and get it set up for programming in Python.